Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So where are we currently?
John 33rd verse.
33rd verse. Okay.
20 was 28, 29, 30. We have covered 33 up to 33.
Much up to 33. So we'll come to 33. Sorry, I was not keeping well for 2 days.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, how are you feeling now?
Yeah, quite much better. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. So text 33. Maitreya uvacha yasyaivam vadata shapam bhrugo sa bhagavan bhavah nischakraya tata kinchit vimana ivasanugah. Translation.
The sage Maitreya said, when such cursing... Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
The sage Maitreya said, when such cursing and counter-cursing was going on between Lord Shiva's followers and the parties of Daksa and Bhrigu, Lord Shiva became very morose. Not saying anything, he left the arena of the sacrifice, followed by his disciples. Purport. Here Lord Shiva's excellent character is described. In spite of the cursing and counter-cursing between the parties of Daksha and Shiva, because he is the greatest Vaiṣṇava, he was so sober that he did not say anything. A Vaiṣṇava is always tolerant, and Lord Shiva is considered the topmost Vaiṣṇava, so his character, as shown in the scene, is excellent. He became morose because he knew that these people, both his men and Dakshas, were unnecessarily cursing and counter-cursing one another, without any interest in spiritual life. From his point of view, he did not see anyone as lower or higher because he is a Vaishnava. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.18, Panditaha Samadarshinaha. One who is perfectly learned does not see anyone as lesser or greater because he sees everyone from the spiritual platform. Thus, the only alternative left to Lord Shiva was to leave in order to stop his follower, Nandishwara, as well as Bhrigu Muni, from cursing and counter-cursing in that way. Hare Krishna.
So while all this cursing, counter-cursing was going on, Lord Shiva became very morose. He did not say anything to anyone, and he simply left the arena. And as soon as Lord Shiva left the arena, all the followers of Lord Shiva also left the arena. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Lord Shiva's excellent character is being described here. The horrific, very, very offensive words used by Daksha, it was Lord Shiva who was offended. Look at those words. Markatalochanaha. You are the sharp preta pishacha. Those very, very horrible words that Daksha is being using. Preta vashesu, ghoreshu, preta bhutair, ganakrutair. Then he the Hasan Rudan Vyupta Kesho, the text 14, 15, text 12. So it was Lord Shiva who was very severely offended by Daksha. Lord Shiva did not say anything, right? And then Nandishwara got angry, rightly, unrightly so. It depends on various versions of visions that we see. He began to curse, Bhrugumuni began to curse, they were cursing each other. Lord Shiva was maintaining his dignity and grace in that period. Srila Prabhupada writes that very beautiful statement, which is like, the guideline statement. Greatness of a man has to be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. Right? Greatness of a man or woman, has to be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situation. Lord Shiva was provoked to max. What was the response of Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva was quiet. He did not say anything. But when he saw this cursing, counter cursing, Prabhupada says here, because Lord Shiva is a Vaishnava. Vaisṇavanam yatha Shambhu, greatest of the Vaishnava. And he will exhibit all the Vaishnava qualities. Right? He did not see anybody higher, lower, somebody who is superior, inferior. He is following Bhagavad Gita. Panditaha Samadarshan. He did not see such a distinction. He somehow wanted to stop this cursing, counter cursing. And therefore, what did he do? He simply left. And he knew that as soon as he leaves the assembly, all his followers also will leave. And these two, the fighting parties will be separated. And this is how he felt it right. He simply left the place. And thus followers of Lord Shiva also left along with him. Text 34.
Prabhuji, could you just repeat, sorry to disturb you, that statement, greatness of a person?
A greatness of a man has to be estimated by his ability to tolerate.
Tolerate, okay. Yeah, okay.
By his ability, I'm also writing down.
Yes, I wanted to write it down, yes.
Provoking situations.
Okay, by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. Okay. Thank you, sir. Sorry to disturb in the middle.
No. Srila Prabhupada writes very beautifully, and like Radhanath Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, many of the sannyasis, they used to quote this phrase very frequently. Prabhupada's very famous phrase. Greatness of a man has to be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. And this is how Lord Shiva, Prabhupada writes here, Lord Shiva's excellent character. Right? So again, sometimes people say, ISKCON wala, they are against Lord Shiva worship. No way, no question. Okay, in a way, we are the greatest Shiva worshippers. Because he is a Vaishnava. Vaisṇavanam yatha Shambhu. Text 34. Tepi visprasuja satram sahastra parivatsaran samvidaya maheshvasah yatrejjah rushabho harihi.
Translation. The sage Maitreya continued, O Vidura, all the progenitors of the universal population thus executed a sacrifice for thousands of years, for sacrifice is the best way to worship the Supreme Lord, Hari, the personality of Godhead. Purport. It is clearly stated here that the stalwart personalities who generate the entire population of the world are interested in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead by offering sacrifices. The Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. One may engage in performing sacrifices and severe austerities for perfection, but they are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. If such activities are performed for personal satisfaction, one is involved in pasanda or atheism. But when they are performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, one is following the Vedic principle. All the assembled sages performed sacrifices for 1,000 years. Hare Krishna.
So, Daksha left, Lord Shiva also left, and then all the progenitors of the universal population, all the Prajapatis, they continue to perform the sacrifice for 1,000 years. And this is how they knew this is the best way to please the Supreme Personality of God. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that look at the activity, what the stalwart personalities they are doing of the universe, the stalwarts of the universe, like so stalwarts of the material world, what they are doing. They are opening their companies, they are listing them in stock market, they are minting money, and that's how they are becoming rich. But on the universal scale, what are the stalwart personalities are doing? So all the stalwart personalities, they be Dikpala, Lokapala, Prajāpati, or they are Mahajanas. All of them are engaged in performing devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. Of course, they have their own Varnashrama responsibility, the universal responsibilities they have, and they have the huge position and the power. But along with that huge position, power, and responsibilities, all they are doing is what you and me can do, that is devotional service. Right? So, all the stalwart personalities, they are engaged in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. And the sacrifice has to be offered to the Supreme Lord. Bhuktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And this is how this activity they are performing for the Supreme Lord. The sacrifice should not be performed for personal satisfaction. That becomes pashanda. Pashanda means, atheism. Later in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord describes this, Namayag. There he says that only for the namesake, people will get into performing yajna. What is that verse? Only for the namesake, he says, uh, people will get into yajna. Bhagavad Gita, it is 16 points, some 12, 13 verse. Yajante nama yajnaiste dambhena avidipurvakam. Like that he says. So the yajna has to be performed for Yajnapati, Yajneshwara. And Yajnapati Yajneshwara is Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So all these progenitors, all the Prajapatis, Lokapalas, Dikpalas, they continued their performance of sacrifice, and they continued the performance of sacrifice for 1000 full years. 635. Aplutyavamritam yatra gangam yamunanvitah virajenatmana sarve swam swam dvamayayustatah. Translation.
My dear Vidura, carrier of bows and arrows, all the demigods who were performing the sacrifice took their bath at the confluence of the Ganges and the Yamuna after completing the yajna performance. Such a bath is called Avaprata Snana. After thus becoming purified in heart, they departed for their respective abodes. Purport. After Lord Shiva and previously Daksa left the arena of sacrifice, the sacrifice was not stopped. The sages went on for many years in order to satisfy the Supreme Lord. The sacrifice was not destroyed for want of Shiva and Daksha, and the sages went on with their activities. In other words, it may be assumed that if one does not worship the demigods, even up to the Lord Shiva and Brahma, one can nevertheless satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.20. Kamais taste ratagyana prapadyante devata. Persons who are impelled by lust and desire go to the demigods to derive some material benefit. Bhagavad Gita uses the very specific words nasti buddhi, meaning persons who have lost their sense or intelligence. Only such persons care for demigods and want to derive material benefit from them. Of course, this does not mean that one should not show respect to the demigods, but there is no need to worship them. One who is honest may be faithful to the government, but he does not need to bribe the government servants. Bribery is illegal and one does not bribe a government servant but that does not mean that one does not show him respect. Similarly, one who engages in transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord does not need to worship any demigod, nor does he have any tendency to show disrespect to the demigods. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 9.23, it is stated, Epi anya devata bhakta ijante shraddha yanvita. The Lord says that anyone who worships the demigods is also worshipping him, but he is worshipping avidhi purvakam, which means without following the regulative principles. The regulative principle is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Worship of the
It's a long
demigods.
purport. I will divide in two sections. My dear Vidura, carrier of the bows and the arrows. This carrier of the bows and the arrows. All the demigods who were performing the sacrifice took their bath at the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna, and this is called as Avabrita Snana, and thus they departed for their respective abodes. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains so that the yajna was going on, and in the middle of the yajna, what happened is first there was a departure of Daksha. Daksha came, he impressed everybody by his presence, and Daksha, he, so Daksha, he impressed everybody, but he just got himself offended. Why? Because everybody got up, Lord Shiva did not get up, and then he offended Lord Shiva, and there was cursing, counter cursing. Daksha left, Lord Shiva left, but the sacrifice continued. Okay, so this is very important thing. So Srila Prabhupada writes here in the purport, the sacrifice was not destroyed for the want of Daksha or Lord Shiva. Sacrifice, the show must go on. Sacrifice continued. Now look at the demigods, devatas. They continued the sacrifice. So here Prabhupada writes a lesson that, therefore, whenever one is engaged in the devotional activities of the, towards the Supreme Lord, it is not necessary to worship the demigods. Although we are not against the demigods. Now here, that many times this problem comes in, people think that we are against the demigods. No, why we will be against demigods? We are not against demigods. Demigods, they themselves are great devotees of the Supreme Lord. They are themselves Vaishnavas, right? And which are the 5 shlokas we should remember? For these are the shlokas which are given by Lord Brahma himself in the original manual called as Brahma Samhita. And one should have the shlokas mukhodgat. One should, have the shlokas very quickly. One should tell the shlokas. Which are the one? For Lord Shiva, which is the shloka?
Kshiram yata dadi vikara.
Yes. Kshiram yatha dati vikara vishesha yogat. Okay. So that this is the position of Lord Shiva, who himself is not different than Lord Viṣṇu actually. There is no difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Viṣṇu. Lord Shiva, Lord Viṣṇu in touch with material nature is called as Lord Shiva. And there are hell of the parties who are fighting, who is Vaishnava and who is Shaiva and all that stuff. Okay, what is the Ganapati Bappa? What is the shloka?
Ye Ganadhiraja Vidhinaya Kumbha Vinidhaya Kumbha.
What is the first line? Yat pada pallava yudam vinidhaya kumbha dvandve pranama samaye saganati raja vignan vihantu malamasya jagatrayasya govindamati purusham tamaham bhajami. For Surya Dev, which is the shloka?
Chayayasya Durga.
No, that is for Durga Devi. That is the next question. For Durga Devi, Navaratri is going on. Which is the shloka for Durga Devi? Srishti sthiti pralaya sadhana shakti rekha chaye vayasya vibharti Durga. Right? This is the shloka. And then similarly, even Lord Viṣṇu, there is a shloka, Samana Dharma, right? So one should know very clearly what is the philosophy. It is not that, we are against the devata. What we are against, Srila Prabhupada very beautifully explains in the purport, we are against bribing the devata to get some material comforts. That I am doing this yajna for you. Now, for my 100 rupees of yajna, give me 500 rupees of returns. Putram dehi, dhanam dehi, saukhyam dehi, this dehi, that dehi. And from when we look this from the bird's eye view, from the perspective of lifetimes, what difference it is going to make? You will get another birth, you will get another this, and from that all that perspective, it boils down to it is just no deal. And therefore, a sane man will not be engaged in this bribery, which is called as doing a yajna, pleasing a demigod, and trying to return something, trying to ask something in the return. And that is what is being condemned. It is not the demigods are being condemned. So whenever even devotees speak, nowadays what has happened is, because of YouTube and because of so many social media outlets, anybody can put their voice in the media. It can become public. And nowadays there is a mad race for views also. People want to just speak something sunny cage kind of a thing, so that they can get more views, and all that is the rat race is going sometimes goes on. But as a devotee, we have to be very careful as a devotee, we have to be very careful what kind of outlook we are giving to our philosophy. Here, Srila Prabhupada very clearly writes, can this be more clearer than these two verses? Previous verse, Srila Prabhupada says, here is Lord Shiva's excellent character is being described. This is the excellent character of Lord Shiva. And here, this does not mean that one should not show the respect to the demigods. But there is no need to unnecessarily worship them for acquiring some material benediction. So this is very important thing. So when we come across Lord Shiva's temple, one should go to the temple, take darshan, glorify Lord Shiva, being great Vaishnavas, and refrain from asking anything material. Period. This is the complete worship. Right? Just like, for example, in our devotee circle, there are many, many devotees, who are like, they have great positions. We have one devotee who is Rishikesh Mafatlalji, who is like owner of the Mafatlal Industries. Now even, now there is a competition to become devotees, by the way. Of course, I am pun intended here. There are Adanis are becoming devotees, Ambanis are becoming devotees, Piramals are already devotees. There are initiated devotees in the Piramal family, right? So it is not that when you come across, say tomorrow, when you are in the yatra and you come across Anant Ambani, and as soon as you come across Anant Ambani, you first one thing is you say, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, how are you? Kaise chal raha hai? Please take care of your health and nice, wonderful activities you are doing. This is one devotional engagement. And as soon as you see him and you ask him, sir, mera ye mechanical engineering mein degree hua hai. Can you just give me job in some Patal Ganga project? So you are getting. So what did we do? We reduced that personality into the level of owner of industry than a Vaishnava. Correct? Similarly for the demigods also. So Lord Shiva is greatest of the Vaishnava. But when we ask material benedictions to Lord Shiva, we reduce Lord Shiva to demigods. It is actually insult to Lord Shiva also. Especially a Vaishnava asking material benedictions to Lord Shiva. So what the devotee does, say that we will excellently, it will come across later, when this is the repeating theme of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that when Prachetas, they come across Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva teaches them, and Prachetas glorify Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva, he teaches them. What did Lord Shiva teach? Lord Shiva teaches them what a guru will teach, how to do devotional service to Lord Viṣṇu. This is Lord Shiva's teaching to Prachetas. And their guru is Lord Shiva, and they perform the severe austerity, and they please Lord Viṣṇu. Another place we will see that Dhruva Maharaj, he comes across Kubera. Kubera is another demigod, right? What did he request? What did he pray to Kubera? And what did he ask for a benediction? So we have to train ourselves to ask these kind of benedictions, right? Whenever we come across such great personalities. So it is not, it's a very, very flimsy understanding that, ISKCON wale Lord Shiva ke khilaf hai, ISKCON wale Devi Devta ka ye karte hai. This is extremely flimsy understanding of, what, and to a great extent, even some of our devotees, I mean, we as a devotees, we are responsible for this kind of understanding because of something like speaking certain things very loosely. But here Srila Prabhupada very clearly writes, bribery is illegal. One does not bribe a government officer, but that does not mean that he does not show respect. Just imagine tomorrow you are in Vrindavan and suddenly you come across Lord Shiva. Can there be a greater fortune than this? One can, just keep on glorifying Lord Shiva for so many wonderful activities that he has. And one can ask a benediction, my dear Lord Shiva, please bless me in devotional service. I become very, firmly situated in devotional service. So this is the mood in which we approach the demigods. For us, demigods are just senior Vaishnavas. Demigods are not somebody that look me not, touch me not personalities. They are the welcome people in our life, but we have no material demands from them. Correct? Yeah, please continue.
Worship of demigods may indirectly be worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it is not regulated. By worshipping the Supreme Lord, one automatically serves all the demigods because they are parts and parcel of the whole. If one supplies water to the root of a tree, all parts of the tree, such as the leaves and branches, are automatically satisfied. And if one supplies food to the stomach, all the limbs of the body, the hands, legs, fingers, etc., are nourished. Thus, by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can satisfy all the demigods. But by worshipping all the demigods, one does not completely worship the Supreme Lord. Therefore, worship of the demigods is irregular, and it is disrespectful to the scriptural injunctions. In this age of Kali, it is practically impossible to perform the Deva Yagya, or sacrifice to the demigods. As such, in this age, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam recommends Sankirtana Yagya. Yagyena Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Hi Sumedhasha. In this age, the intelligent person completes the performance of all kinds of yagyas simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtya. When Lord Viṣṇu is satisfied, all the demigods, who are parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are satisfied. Thus end the Bhakti-Vedanta purports of the 4th canto, 2nd chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Daksa curses Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna.
Further, Srila Prabhupada explains, but when Lord Viṣṇu is worshipped, automatically all the devatas, they are also worshipped. Yatha taror moola nishechenena trupyanti tat skanda bhujopashakha. They are automatically being taken care of. But vice versa is not true, right? So we can water the root of the tree and automatically all the leaves, all the fruits, all the branches will be nourished and satisfied. Water will reach everywhere. But if you start separately watering every leaf, every fruit, every branch, not necessarily the tree will be nourished. Tree will still collapse, right? And therefore, performing devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the most regular way of performing the sadhana. And in this age of Kali, especially, it is recommended is the Harinam Sankirtana, which yagya. So, in Kali Yuga, the yagya recommended is Yagyai Sankirtana Prayai Yajantihi Sumetasaha. Intelligent person in Kali Yuga will get into Sankirtana Yagya, and especially chanting the holy names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that's why whenever I give any one-time program, first timers, people who are meeting me first time, I tell them that, देखो गणपति का सीजन आ रहा है, नवरात्रि का सीजन आ रहा है, you have Ganapati Aarti. But our ancestors, they have included in Ganapati Aarti, what they have included at the conclusion, Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam. And then what? Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So that's the Aarti is for Ganapati, but you are concluding with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Brahma Taraka Naam for the sage. And therefore, Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam. When the Lord is satisfied, all the devatas, part and parcels of the Supreme Lord, everybody is satisfied. And this is how we conclude the fourth canto, second chapter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Dakṣa curses Lord Shiva. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gaura
Jai.
Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you,
Jai.
Prabhupada. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Preet Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Papa